And we're here.
We're
back
here.
in
We are
person.
back. We're in person again.
We are. Jamie and I had that chat about how we'd like to turn round like a real podcast host and say, what do you think of that, Jamie?
Yeah. I just want to flag at the moment, Jake is lounging on my sofa in a way which...
Badgers?
Yeah.
On the rise. What do you think of that, Jamie? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? What's your stance on badgers, Jamie?
I don't like this already.
Welcome back to Down with Boring,
Yes.
the new Badger show from Dork Magazine.
We thought, why not? Music's done us... Well, music can get us only so far. Badgers, on the other hand, can take us to whole new lanes.
So what we've done is we've got 4 badgers and we've named them all after tracks that came out this week, and we'll be rating them later on in the show.
We said we'll be racing them.
We'll be racing and rating the
Which would be
badgers.
great for this audio podcast.
I'd enjoy. They do the horse racing commentary.
They do,
don't they?
and like sports on the radio. I've seen
Sports.
that. Yeah,
Not
sports
horse racing,
Yeah,
sports.
I mean, come on, that's
What
a
is
bit.
it?
That's a
Radio
bit of a
sports?
laugh.
What's
Isn't
that
it?
all about? That must be annoying.
Yeah, like when they're doing the football, don't like that.
It's just a list of players' names. Though.
Yeah. And he shoots, and that is a goal. So we'll be doing a similar thing.
I enjoyed in the Euros when they ran out of things to say, and one of the commentators just paused. And there's a pause, and then he went and over to so and so, who is 6'3", one of the taller players in this year's Euros competition, and that was either read off of something, like he was googling, in which case, like, do better, or that's just a thing he knows.
Just knows it off the top of his head.
Just knows it. Anyway, we've got loads of new music and new badges for you this week.
In what order? You'll have to wait and see.
You will. Plus album.
We have got Self Esteem's album, of course, is out this week, so that's going to be
a wonderful, wonderful album.
A wonderful time. We're joined by Police Car Collective later on. It's all going on. And then, everything that you've come to expect from the show. And much, much less. We didn't think you could go much lower, but turns out we can. And we're going to push that boundary today. So that's going to be nice. I guess, first of all, congratulations to Wallace for signing with Dirty Hit this week.
So that was us, I think.
That was us. Again, another one for us, Jake.
Where's Wallace? Dirty Hit.
That's...
Oh, thank you very much.
Before all the fun, Jake, do we have a mailbag? What's the mailbag thing?
Well, we didn't.
Right.
But on my way to yours, I was on the tube and a man sat down next to me.
Yes.
And I looked over and I was like, God, is this man okay? Because he was like, he wasn't really moving, and he was made entirely of damp Hessian.
Oh.
And he was in the shape of a sack. And I shook him, and he woke up.
You shook this man.
Yeah, and he woke up and he said, "What?" And I said, "Oh, is this your stop?"
Yeah.
And he said,
Nice
"No,
of you. Nice of you.
no, it's not my stop. That's why I was asleep."
Oh, he knows. He knows. Yeah.
And then he got to his stop and he got up, and underneath him was the Dork mailbag. Which was interesting.
Should have known.
Yeah,
should have known.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what his problem was.
What the rest of his day is like.
Well, delivering mail.
I mean,
Delivering deep inside his own mouth and pulling out letters.
Delivering mail, but like just leaving it in places, like next to people, like a character from a Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
Just like
He had a little bit of red string tied on the top of his head.
Yeah.
With a little label on it.
And that's it. So you've got
reach into the void and pull out what you dare.
I think that's an arrestable offence.
Not reaching into the void of public transport.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have 2 letters in the mailbag. The first one is from David from Dorchester.
Oh, nice.
Who has moved somewhere alliterative.
That's nice of him.
David says, "Hi, Dork." Hi, David. How are you?
Hello, David.
Don't answer. We can't hear you.
No.
He said, "Hi, Dork. Would you rather make a really big wall out of really small bricks, which will look aesthetically more pleasing, or out of really big bricks, which would be heavier but quicker?"
Depends what the wall is being used for. Would be my question.
Yeah, he's not
kind of said what it'd be used for. If it was like just for, so for example, if you looking out my window, there is a wall there.
There is, yeah,
which
I assume holds back tons of soil.
Yes.
If that wall goes, you die.
Well, the trees used to be attached to it, and then the trees fell off. So that's good. So that's good. So practical. But that looks like it's relatively, I don't know, regular sized bricks there.
Yeah, but if it was bigger bricks, it would look a bit sort of prison wall.
Yes. Yeah. My argument...
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah.
You've got no idea what this wall looks like.
But I'm just letting you know. I reckon make it aesthetically pleasing. The small bricks on the wall. That'll look nice.
I'd rather have a smaller wall that was properly made.
Yeah, sturdy.
Shoddily thrown together by someone who just doesn't care.
Yeah. Would you ever like done stuff with walls before?
Done stuff with walls?
Yeah, you know what I mean.
No. Once,
that.
actually, when I lived at home, there was a man rebuilding the front garden wall. We had a little tiny front garden.
Nice.
Rebuilding the wall. And I said, "Do you want a cup of tea, mate?" And he said, "No, thanks." But he was building the wall, so that's like 1 degree of separation. So shout out, Jamie, if you're not you.
I was like, hold on a second.
If you're listening, I hope you're well, and I hope you didn't get too thirsty that day.
Yeah. I also want to shout out, just talking of walls, and nicely tying it back to this music podcast. When we went and chatted to Alfie Templeman for the cover of Dork last year, his father Martin was putting up a wall. It looked like he was doing a great job. So
shout out Martin.
Shout out to Martin Templeman. Alfie, don't know about your wall building.
Yeah, let us know how the wall is.
Yeah. Give us an update on the wall and its conditions.
Did Martin do it right?
Did he deliver?
Know. We'll never know unless we ask.
That's over to you now, Alfie. But yeah, I think that's answered. I think that's covered. Have we got another?
We have,
question?
yes. Now the next dripping piece of detritus is from Lucy from Bedford, and
shout out Bedford.
Shout out Bedford.
Shout out Bedford. Always doing as best it can.
Yeah. Who's from Bedford? Tom Grennan. Tom Grennan's from Bedford.
I think Alfie is technically from Bedfordshire. So
Bedfordshire. Well, that's the whole county.
Declan McKenna, maybe from the surrounding areas.
From the surrounding areas. Let's not get.
No, but this is one thing I will say about the surrounding areas, and it's known as like the 3 counties, which I think, in the nicest way, bit lazy.
I only know 2 of them, unless Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire.
Yeah,
don't know what the third one is. Wiltshire, maybe. Don't know.
If you're in the 3 counties, give us a shout.
I think it's just BBC Radio that does 3 counties. If we had regional variations, we would do each county individually because we do it properly. So
yeah. This is it. We got all the time BBC. In the world.
Anyway, this second letter,
Buckinghamshire.
Shout out Buckinghamshire. State of all of those. Apart from Luton. Shout out Luton.
Oh, God.
Yes, Lucy from Bedford.
Who we've just slagged right off.
Well, maybe don't live in Bedford, that's the issue. You meet a lot of people from Bedford, but you don't meet them in Bedford. That's all I'm saying. Lucy from Bedford says, I'm going to get a pet. Should I get a guinea pig or a rabbit?
Oh, good shouts. Both decent. The rabbit, I feel, will be... Well, the rabbit will be more hard work, I feel.
Or hard working.
It's a unit, isn't it? The rabbit.
Yeah,
I'd probably go for a rabbit. It's more of a classic pet. Guinea pigs, yeah, they're decent. I
like how when you pick them up, they go...
And therefore, that's why you should get it.
Yeah. Plus, they're sort of like tic-tac shaped, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're compact. Whereas a rabbit, there's a lot of curves and stuff.
Yeah.
If you're drawing a guinea pig, you just do one sort of oval.
Also, you might end up with the really large rabbits.
Yeah, they're too big.
Which would be a bit alarming.
Frisian giants?
Yeah.
There's always a picture of someone holding it, and the rabbit doesn't know how to be held.
Yeah.
That's how you know when an animal's intelligent.
Yeah.
When you pick up a cat, the legs go up.
They know what they're doing.
You know what I mean? Like, they don't enjoy it, but the legs go up, they perch on the arm.
Yeah.
You pick up a dog, equally.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, you pick up a rabbit, and it's just
all over the place.
Yeah. Come on, mate.
State of it.
Tuck in. Keep arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times.
Tuck in, for the love of God.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah.
Plus, guinea pigs are from South America, a little bit,
Oh.
A little bit
So if you're
further away.
So if you're a fan of Maradona, go for the guinea pig.
The Aztecs.
If you're a fan of...
Two domesticated animals in South America, pre-European settlement. Yep, the llama family. I don't know if llamas or alpacas are the domestic ones.
Yeah, I always get confused.
And guinea pigs.
Wow.
Guinea pigs raised for meat. Put them on a kebab.
I mean,
delicious.
We've moved from what pet should I get to, I mean, you could eat both of them.
You could eat both. I've never eaten either, actually.
I think I've eaten rabbit before.
Yeah, well, I'd be surprised if you'd eat
I'd be alarmed if you haven't.
I wouldn't turn them down.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on the scenario, if a man on the train handed me some guinea pig, I would turn that down.
That's
but I
fair.
would turn down anything in that scenario.
Yeah.
If I was in a restaurant scenario, I'd be happy to accept the guinea pig, but please don't just throw it.
If someone's handing you
like a bag, bag of
a raw animal, that'd be the alarming situation. Yeah, probably don't eat that. Don't eat bags of meat from strangers on trains. Is what we're trying to say, Lucy.
Yes.
And I believe,
for God's sake, Lucy,
that's answered your question.
Yeah. So please, any more letters for the Dork mailbag? Send them in via the usual and unusual means.
The unusual means.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Fucking hell. Let's get on to some music news.
Let's.
We've only got a couple for you, but they're big stories. So let's start with the first one, which is Bastille are back. They've announced their 4th album.
Oh, wait. Is it called... I reckon I can get this.
No, go on, you got it.
I reckon I can get this.
Yeah.
No, I haven't got it.
It's Give Me the Future.
Oh, if only I could see the future.
If only we could.
Then I'd have no bad days.
You won't believe it, Jake.
I won't. Will I? Won't I? Should I?
They've debuted a new song with it, and it's called No Bad Days. They're back. Yeah, the album's out on February the 4th. Great day. February the 4th. But that's a comfortable day. You know what I mean? Feel like what date is this happening? February the 4th. I feel at ease thinking about
I feel
day.
free.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if someone said, are you free February the 4th? Without thinking, I go, yeah, probably.
Yeah, of course I am. What else am I doing on February
the 4th?
February the 4th. What else am I fucking doing?
Whereas, like, if someone said to me, like, March the 12th, I'd be like, oh, sounds busy.
This is a free day, but Bastille are now taking it.
Yeah.
As it's known, Bastille Day.
Yes,
of course. Famously move about when their album is released.
Is that what they're named after?
I think
Are they named after Bastille Day, which was famously the storming of the Bastille, or are they named after the Bastille
that was stormed?
Yeah. Are they pro or anti ancient French prisons?
Bastille, if you are listening, this is what we want to know.
Like, is it the equivalent of being Bastille Day, or is it the equivalent of calling yourself, like, Guantanamo?
Yeah, that's it. They've gone for the Guantanamo feel. That's what Bastille have gone
old
for.
Guantanamo.
Oh, all right. Okay, the famous one, right?
Guantanamo old.
Talking about history, you'll be like to know that this album is a tribute to humanity in a tech age, and reflects on the strangeness of living through times that can feel like science fiction. Do these times feel like science fiction, Jake?
Well, I think it's an interesting one because I think this feels maybe dystopian, but like science fiction, like maybe like when they invented the wheel, people were like, fuck me. This is just like all those science fiction stories they used to tell about moving quickly on circular objects. Like, I feel like any time, like if you go back like 30, 40 years, anything's going to look like science fiction. That's how science works.
You are completely correct,
like,
actually. Yeah.
Like, we've got a computer in our pocket. And it's like, yeah, but like 40 years ago, if you had a computer, that would be like science fiction.
It's true.
60 years ago, it would be a physical impossibility unless you were like NASA.
This show.
This is science fiction.
This is science fiction.
This is a high concept, futuristic sci-fi adventure.
This is the Ridley Scott of podcasting.
And
right
it was good originally, but it's gotten steadily worse, and now it doesn't make any sense.
And they kept going, and they kept going,
just kept pushing,
and no one could stop.
Did
and
Ridley
now
Scott die?
No, he's still knocking about.
Oh no, the guy Geiger died, didn't he?
Did he?
The guy, the inspiration for his drawings were the inspiration for Alien. He didn't look like Alien.
He wasn't the alien. He was there just like, oh, fucking hell, this is taken off, hasn't it?
Yeah, like, exactly.
Knocking around the red carpet. But no.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. But Bastille aren't dead.
No.
They, come out with a new album. Looking good. We talked about some of their songs that we've released so far. It's good to see him. It's good to see him.
We talked about some of their songs. They're a band we've referenced. They're part of the extended universe.
We have. Big fans over here at Dork. So yeah, looking forward to it. I like that they keep trying stuff new, which is a big fan.
They do keep trying.
This is interesting. This is interesting. A cinematic sci-fi saga. Have a bit of that.
That's what I call my bus journey, because you can tap on with contactless, and sometimes you can charge your phone.
I don't know if this is the same thing that you're talking about, but
like when you go on, one of those new trains.
Yes,
and there's a phone charger. It's not even a plug socket. It's just a USB.
Yeah. That throws me. That throws me.
Sci-fi saga, whatever it
is. The future, will be here.
Future's bright. The future is Bastille.
It's Bastille. on February the 4th, the album is out. So
they've got a track list here.
Yeah.
And this is all a futuristic sci-fi adventure, right?
Yeah.
Track 10 is Give Me the Future, which sounds like they've kind of got bored of like their own warm-up.
Maybe there's a journey here. So it's like Back to the Future. And maybe they're like, they have to leave and they're like, oh, just give me the future while I head back.
Yeah, maybe. And then the last one is The Future Holds.
So it's all about the future here. Plug in.
I've got a feeling this album could be really, really embarrassing. Depending how heavily they lead into it. I trust Bastille.
Or
I feel like they're going to pull it off.
Yeah.
But that track list and that concept, if I can forget it while I'm listening to the album, that'd be nice. Because otherwise I feel like it's going to be very like...
We'll have to wait.
Like sort of, budget Daft Punk outfits. Like, we're from the future.
You've watched too many dodgy sci-fi films. I think that's the issue.
Maybe that is it. Yeah.
Maybe that is it. Looking forward to it. But until then, let's have a listen to the song they put out with the news. This is No Bad Days.
There'll be no bad days. There'll be no bad days. There'll be no bad days. You'll have no more bad days when you're gone. There'll be no bad days. You'll have no more bad days.
There we go.
I thought it was No B Days.
As in no B days in this hotel.
Yeah.
To
clean, to cleanse and refresh.
yes, to patter.
Bitter patter.
The leather regions.
The leather regions.
Well, depends what kind of day you're having.
Jesus
Jake.
Christ. News.
Yes. Shall we have another
Yeah,
slice
big
of
news. What's the big news?
The big news is, and this is the big debate that we have been seeing going on
This is a news section.
all over
This is
internet.
like a hard talk on
Yes.
BBC or something. The big debate.
The big debate, and that debate is bowling bad?
No.
Because Zara Larsson has come out in force
In force.
and is not having it at all about bowling. She took to like Instagram and was talking about just can't stand bowling or the idea of going bowling. Some would even use the word hate for my feelings towards bowling. I would seriously like someone 13% less if we were going on a date and they were suggesting, let's go bowling. Are you fucking serious?
Wow.
It's making me super sad. Miserable, even. Just a typo.
Well, maybe not.
Bowling. It's not something
Maybe
I
she
do.
meant Miss Marple.
I want it to be my turn all the time. Doesn't like waiting. So there's logic behind this.
Right. But I just think, like, grow up.
Yeah.
Kids deal with it.
I don't like to be negative, but my friend just broke off her nail from going bowling. So maybe that has impacted it. But yeah, the idea of bowling is not the one. I think the line.
I just think that's, it's just wrong, isn't it? I'm really awful at bowling. I'm
Right.
completely terrible.
Right.
And like, I still enjoy myself.
If
You're terrible at everything else, you hate it. But bowling, I think with bowling, even if you're terrible, there is a fluke chance that you could do something good. Whereas like, if you're playing a game of football and you suck, like you suck. But bowling, it's just you against the pins.
Yeah, it is kind of almost just a luck situation at that point.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. I enjoy it. I also think like, I don't know, how can you hate bowling?
I enjoy the experience of bowling.
Yeah, plus bowling alleys are great because they're that kind of weird, like kitschy retro. You play some weird arcade games as well. And it's great going as an adult because all those like arcade games and grab machines that are like pounds, that when you're a kid, that's like a week's pocket money.
Yeah.
Now you're just like, yeah, you know what? I will change 20 quid into pound coins and regret it tomorrow.
Yes.
Because sometimes when I go to the pub, I've spent that in like an hour and a half.
That's true. So actually,
I've spent more on a shit roast than I have pumped into this grab machine to win a teddy bear. Like,
great.
Yeah. Plus, we've actually asked a few superstars how they feel.
Well, yeah. So since this came to light, we've been deep in chat. We've
tapped up our contacts.
Yeah, it's all been going on, and we've had to basically have an ask around because, to be honest, it's thrown us this much, and we simply needed to discuss it a little bit further. So, we've gone to a lot of people.
Yeah. So I spoke to Wet Leg recently.
Of course.
Had a quick chat with them about bowling.
Great stuff.
They said, Rian from the band said they hate bowling. That's what they said, and then they said, well, actually.
Oh.
on the Isle of Wight, there is a skating rink next to the bowling alley, an ice skating rink. And whenever they were a kid and they went bowling, they hated it because they knew they weren't ice skating. So she then said, thinking about it, maybe I could go for some bowling now, but only if it was the only option available. So she doesn't necessarily hate bowling objectively, but as a subjective memory.
Right. So that, I don't feel that's bowling's fault.
No, it's not. You can't blame bowling.
You can't blame bowling in that situation.
You can't blame a shoe for not being a glove.
We then have asked Gracie, of course, another favourite over here. Her response was mini golf. That's right. Just came back and said, twist for you.
Bowling, you mean mini golf?
And she says that mini golf is shit.
Interesting one, isn't it? Like,
I'm alarmed because we did both of these things when we went to Rockaway Beach a couple of years ago.
Bowling is fun. Mini golf always feels like it's going to be more fun than it is.
Yeah.
Mini golf, you get halfway around and you're like, yeah, this is just a lot of putting.
We're done now. Yeah.
Unless it's like properly crazy, but the ones in England are always just like, this one's got a little hill. This one's got a bit of guttering on it.
Doesn't want it. Yeah. It's just like, this is a bit shit. Actually.
Or they have like this incredible like statue of a dinosaur, but it's just like on the side and not actually anything to do with the golf.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah. You think you're going to get involved with that, and they're like, oh no, that's actually just for show.
That's just there.
The confusion is not the one. And then lastly, obviously this week as well, we asked one Alfie Templeman, of course.
The Alfster.
We didn't ask his dad.
Bedford.
Didn't ask his dad because he was still doing the
walls.
The walls.
Building more walls.
The walls. His response: fuck anyone that doesn't like bowling.
Yeah.
Straight in. Bowling is a real pastime that I think we should all celebrate. That's basically what we're trying to say.
Maybe this is maybe bowling, without us realizing, is actually very traditionally masculine.
Maybe.
Me, you, and Alfie
are saying
love
yes.
bowling.
Yeah.
Rian, Zara Larson, and I guess, I don't know.
And Gracie was straight into
mini golf. But maybe that's what it is. Maybe bowling's the patriarchy.
Maybe.
Hey, you know what was good about bowling when you were a kid?
We won't say.
They made you wear the shoes.
Yeah, I like the shoes.
And then you go there now, and sometimes they don't make you wear the shoes, and it just suddenly clicks in your head that like, what the fuck would I have to wear the shoes for?
I don't know what you needed to wear the shoes.
Like, those trainers aren't good enough for standing there and throwing a bowling ball. Like, you've got to put these weird shoes on. They have no grip.
They're like tap shoes, aren't they?
Yeah, like what's the... Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
you didn't need
imagine
that.
if you went to mini golf and they went, oh, sorry, you have to wear Crocs. And you'd be like, no. I can't think of any other situation in which someone would hand me a pair of weird shoes and I'd go like, oh, of course, the shoes. Yes, I've got to put the shoes on.
Yeah, in that realm of like activities, what other activities are asking you to change your shoes?
Not many.
And
the ones that are like only when you're like semi-professional.
Exactly. Not when you're just fucking around.
Weird. And they bought all those shoes. Where do the shoes get made?
Who's the supplier?
Who invented that shoe?
Who's that? What do you do? Oh, I actually I make bowling shoes. Who is that?
What are they designed to be so ugly you wouldn't want to steal them? Is that?
I think there's a little bit of that, but I actually quite like them.
Yeah, they went too far.
Yeah, because now they're kind of like retro. I like it.
Retro.
I like the
style. You can't get them anymore, can you?
No. Well, famously, we didn't discuss about it. Basically, we're up for bowling, but this is a debate that continues.
Yeah. So it ravages our society. So please do let us know what you think about bowling.
Yeah. Just write on in. I guess the last word I can give to Zara Larson, which was, you want me to put my fingers up in there and wear ugly shoes? No, thanks.
Well, Zara, you don't have to wear the shoes anymore.
Not anymore. Maybe that's changed. Maybe that could change Zara's opinion.
Next time she pops around for a chat, we'll ask.
We'll have an ask. Until then, we've got Police Car Collective up next.
We have, yes.
But we're just going to reflect on bowling. And for Zara Larson, unfortunately, this has ruined my life. By Zara Larson. Yes. And we're back.
But not just us.
No, thankfully it's not just us. Because because by this point already you'll be sick of hearing our voices. So thankfully, we're joined by some real new faves here on the show. We're going to introduce you to the one and only Simon, Frankie, Police Car Collective. Guys, how are we doing? How are things? How are things in the world?
Well, in your world, not necessarily the whole world.
That'd be a tough question otherwise.
I mean, if we want to cover the serious topics, we can just go right off the bat, talk about inflation, everything, all the real subjects that we want to dive into. But your world, let's go with your world. How are things?
Things in our world, it's good. We've been out, we've been playing the shows, we've been seeing people, we've been doing all those things that we weren't supposed to do, and now
you never thought would happen,
and now we can.
It's the things that we never did as a band before we did well as a band, you know what I mean? We never really got to do the we're a little local band kind of thing. We just got chucked straight in the deep end, so it's nice to be able to just get into it,
Yeah, I can imagine, especially as like a band, I guess, like you say, putting out music kind of, over the past year that, and not being able to do those kind of things that a lot of bands do, I guess, like before they even start thinking, right, here we go. Like actually being able to do those shows must have been, I don't know, just like, an amazing moment to actually be like, right, we are about now. We are doing stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because it's like, I feel like now since, because our second show we played was Reading.
Yeah.
So, like,
just a calm second
That's
show.
the standard
there.
progression, isn't it? You do one show, then get booked for Reading. Easy.
Yeah. So we just kind of got chucked into the deep end, sort of. But it's been nice now because now we've kind of been in the flow of doing it for a bit, and it's nice to actually just feel like a real band, because I feel like for a year, we to the internet, I guess we're a band, but it didn't really feel like in our world we were a real band,
Yeah, it's like need to actually do these shows. That's proper. You need to be carrying stuff into venues in various parts of the country.
100%.
We need to actually be able to play instruments, apparently.
They don't tell you that, do they? When you're doing it all remotely, paying everyone else to do it for you, keeping it quiet, and then suddenly you got to play them on stage. What's that all about?
We've got to play in front of people. Like this is a mess. How was Reading as a second show as well that you've ever done? How was that? And I guess how was festivals in general? You've done quite a few, I guess, over the past couple of months.
Well, Reading was definitely terrifying. That drive down there was an interesting one.
I don't think I'll ever forget because we had to pick up our like front of house guy at the train station.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'll ever forget that feeling of like looking at all those 16-year-old kids about to go to Reading Festival and being like, oh my God.
We've got to go there.
Yeah. It was crazy. But yeah, that was it was an amazing experience. It was really fun. It was really cool.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially just like stepping out on that stage, and like you say, kind of being, I guess, a band that, started, and I definitely, haven't had that opportunity to go out on the stage as well. Like, was that kind of always something you had visioned, like, to give Police Car Collective, I don't know, like an identity, because you've done obviously all this stuff online, which looks amazing, but being able to take that from online to actual real life, was that something that you were, I don't want to say nervous about, but it was like something that you maybe hadn't really thought through, or kind of like, what was that jump to be able to jump to that live kind of like moment?
So you mean what was it like playing live, Jamie? Is that what you're getting at?
Yes, let's go with that. What was it like playing live? Yes.
that feeling of stepping out on that stage in Reading and just being like, oh heck, there's actually people here. Because that's the biggest fear, that after being an internet band for that long, is anyone actually that interested in the real world?
Especially like at a festival where there's always other choices for people. That must be so relieving to walk out and be like, oh, they've chosen us. It's all okay.
Yeah, and we were clashing with like Easy Life and stuff, and that's you know.
Yeah, you're immediately like, oh no, why clash with them? clash with someone that we know, like, oh, look, we don't really like them, they'll be fine.
Exactly.
Exactly. But no, straight into that. I guess how did Police Car Collective come about, really? Like, what kind of was the first spark for you guys to be like, right, let's do something together?
Yeah, I mean, so I moved over to the UK from the States like 2.5 years ago now, I guess, and I was sort of in the States. I was in like various punk bands and stuff that nobody really cared about. And then I sort of yeah, and then I sort of Dork wasn't talking about my underground punk band. I don't know what was going on.
We've been exposed.
Yeah, what the hell, guys? But,
come on.
Things slip through the net, you know. It's tough.
But yeah, so then I came over here and was sort of trying to figure out what I was going to do, and had been kind of trying to write some new stuff and kind of experiment with different sounds and stuff like that, and then met Simon, and he was also in a band that wasn't being covered by Dork. Really not cool guys.
Well, what we did was we didn't cover those bands because we knew that together you'd make a perfect band. So we were like, let's not encourage them until they've worked that out.
Okay, that's very like 4D chess move. But
but it's worked, right? It's worked, and you cannot prove otherwise. So.
This is true.
It's true. It's covered. Oh,
I need to see the memos. I need the proof.
We do it all verbally. There's nothing. The paper trail's gone. We've shredded it.
Yeah, we know we have to jump on the phone. You know, we know the business. We know when to hide ourselves in the darkness. To be fair, but that was it. But then, obviously, yeah, without Dork writing about either band, you came together, and that was it. And was it like an immediate click where you're like, this is the type of music we both want to make?
Well, I think we definitely both got on to start off with, but then I remember very vividly I think it was the second time we met, we were talking about being DJs rather than being in a band, which is hilarious to think of now.
Two different paths.
True, yeah. Yeah, we were in a coffee shop, and we had this like hour conversation. We were really serious about it. We were like, we're gonna become old school vinyl DJs, and that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be really sick.
Nice. And then, what changed? What could have changed? Yeah.
It's quite expensive, apparently.
And that was enough. You were like, one guitar is cheaper than 400 records.
Yeah.
So.
Well, no, it's funny because I think actually what it was that we had that conversation, and the whole time that we were talking, I kind of in the back of my mind was like, oh, I have a couple like demos, like I wonder if maybe he would be interested. And then I think we had this hour-long conversation about being DJs, and then right at the end I was like, oh yeah, I have some songs, maybe I'll send them over. And then like that was kind of how that started. And then I think literally Simon texted me like an hour later and was like, yeah, these are cool. And then I was like, do you want to play bass? And he was like, yeah, sure. And then like that was it. That was
literally like, despite that entire hour earlier, I don't really want to be a DJ.
Well, what a waste of my time.
And that was it. And then that was it. So the DJ future will be a lost DJ future. Who knows what may happen? But
I mean, police car DJ set coming soon. Who knows?
Well, it must have been annoying. Must have been annoying when Daft Punk announced their retirement, because you could have slotted right in there if only you'd followed that path.
There's a niche waiting to be filled
by the biggest electronic act in the world. There's a hole there. We could have done that. And I guess like what's followed, like putting kind of like stuff out there as well has been obviously like amazing. Obviously, you've had an EP already. What's it been like? I guess seeing people's kind of like reaction as well to it. And I guess does it feel like it's happening really quickly for you guys? Does it feel like you're like, oh wow, people are like really into this and getting involved?
I think it only feels like a lot's going on when we sort of like we'll sit in like a coffee shop and like really try and like reflect on what's actually happened. Or in like times like this when like an interviewer will like list back, our whole like press release and what we've done in the last year, and then it's sort of a bit like, wow, okay, we've actually made some money moves here.
We've done some stuff.
Yeah,
we've done
yeah,
things.
no, it is strange because it's like, because I feel like the answer to that question is like yes and no, because it like when you think, like when we are thinking about it, it is like insane that we went from like literally not existing on the internet until January, and then in August playing Reading Festival. Like that is an insane that is an insane thing. But then, like,
more than I've done,
especially being like in lockdown and stuff, it just, when every day feels like the longest day ever, it just sort of, I don't know, it's hard to just like remind yourself of like how insane everything is, because you just always kind of like want more, I guess, or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it has just been the craziest year ever.
The craziest one. And again, it's obviously continuing. You have a new track out, Famous, out in the world. I guess following on from that EP 1980 and now into this, does it feel like it's like a next chapter for you guys? Like, does it feel different? Like, does it almost come from a different place, this track, or does it feel much like the natural evolution, I guess?
No, I think 100% it's a different thing. I mean, this Famous was actually the first song that we wrote after we got signed, because like everything that came out off the first record, we already had written and recorded when we got signed. So then, Famous was kind of the first song where we were like, okay, people might actually hear this song, like if we put it out, so like we better make sure that we believe in what we're saying, because I think it's a very different attitude making music, knowing that people are actually going to hear it, and then like, whereas before, like just assuming that no one will hear it, you think about, especially for me, like writing lyrics, like you think about it a lot different, I guess. And that was definitely, this song was us kind of our first sort of attempt at writing a song, knowing that it was actually going to get out there and get kind of, coverage and all that stuff.
There's people waiting for it now. Like there's people who are like, oh, like, I've checked those guys out at a festival, what they're going to do next. And I guess that, like, does it add a weird kind of like bit of pressure as well? Or is it a case you just kind of like block that out, as a band, you're just kind of like, no, we're focused on what we're doing here?
Well, I think the timeline that we work on makes it really easy to not put pressure on ourselves like that, I suppose, because when we recorded Famous, it was this time last year, so again it was before anyone on the internet really knew who we were. There's still that degree of separation from when it's going to hit the world. You're just having a good time in the moment, hoping that people will connect with it.
Exactly, and I know it definitely feels like that. And also, of course, with Famous, you have a music video or a short film, more like. First of all, incredible scenes in this film.
Thank you.
How? Yeah, a lot going on. How did that come about as well? Because it kind of introduces these two characters as well into the frame. Is that something that you're like? Is it like, obviously without spoiling too much, going to build on, I guess, or is it very much created almost for this song? I guess, how did that come about?
Yeah, I think, I mean, it sort of just came out of, after the last record came out, we sort of, I mean, obviously it was amazing that so many people heard it, because it was way more than we'd ever imagined. But it also was like, we would start to do interviews and stuff like this, and it would just be a lot of like, people asking us about like why we wrote the songs and like what the songs mean and all of this stuff. And I've just never been particularly interested in like going in depth on stuff like that, because I think, people should be able to interpret it however they want. So we were kind of like, okay, well, obviously we have to still be able to sell this somehow. So like, how can we create something else to make it almost like a spectacle or something? You know what I mean? And then it was we just kind of kept brainstorming, and then we came up with whatever this stuff is.
And then there was
came up with something.
It happened. It came up. Is that kind of, I guess, the the spectacle side of it something that's, I guess, really important for you guys? Like, you obviously when you're playing live as well, but obviously in all your like visuals and everything, is that something that I've kind of seen other bands do, and you kind of want to follow that kind of like example, or is that kind of like a massive thing for you guys and what you're doing going forward?
Yeah, 100%. I think like we always are trying to think about how we're representing ourselves like visually. Because I think obviously with Instagram and all of that stuff, it has become so important, but also because of that, it's all become so crowded. So it's sort of like
standing out.
How can we do something that visually that is going to be different from what other people are doing, and also I mean, like, we're huge fans of Kanye, who is like the king of putting out an album and having it be a spectacle just because of everything surrounding the album.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I think that's something that we talk about a lot, definitely.
Yeah. Nice. And it builds to a new EP that is coming in the future. Everyone has to wait for that. Has to wait, because it will come. But in the meantime, let's take a pause and have a listen to this track that we have talked about, because they don't want to hear my voice talk about it anymore. They want to actually hear the thing. So let's have a listen. This is Famous by Bastille Collective. A huge one, a huge tune, an amazing one.
And yet here you are again, Jamie.
Yeah, I kind of gave a little bit of a pause
we'd got rid of you, but here you are again.
Alas, unfortunately, the music show has been destroyed once again by my voice. A joyous time. We've now come to that part of the show. Some guests say they love it, some guests say they hate it, and other guests simply ignore us.
But they're all in too deep to get out of it, and that's the important thing.
At this point, we've got them. And therefore, what we're going to do this week, in celebration of obviously the new track, Famous, we thought, being famous in the public eye, some would say it's good, some say it's bad. But I guess it depends what you're famous for. And we thought, who better to guide us through the fame game but Police Car Collective. So what we're going to do, we're going to name a variety of different reasons, I guess, why you might be famous. And we want to know, obviously, from yourselves, if you'd be happy to be famous for that, or if it would just be awful. A real in-depth look here. A real in-depth look. So Jake, do you want to start us off with a first such reason?
Would you think it's a good thing to be famous for eating the most hot dogs in one sitting ever?
How many hot dogs?
Well, I guess that's part of the question, isn't it? I mean, would you be happy to be famous for eating 20 but not for 30? Is there a cut-off for you?
Is there a cut-off? Like a large number?
Is there an amount where you're like, that is simply too many hot dogs to be known for eating?
I think more than 100 is just a bit silly.
So a really conservative number of hot dogs is the thing. You wouldn't want to just divulge and just you would be happy to be famous for eating like 20 hot dogs in one sitting, but it's the size that alarms you.
I think so. It's just because you don't want to be the guy that just eats like a ridiculous amount of hot dogs.
Yeah,
the guy that eats enough. Whereas
when you walk past someone and they go, "Oh my god, there's that guy that ate 99 hot dogs and then stopped," that's fine. That's a normal thing. Because
you know your limits, and I think
that's
people
true.
Respect you for that.
They'll respect you, but you would be then known as the person going around who ate the most hot dogs in one sitting. Whether that is a good claim to fame or not, I guess we ask.
Well, I mean, if Dork will write about it, then
we would. We would. Like, undeniably, arguably,
that is front cover news as far as we're concerned. That rockets you to the top.
Yeah. Next video, just saying, the option is there. We will, of course, heavily support any sort of large hot dog.
The next music video is a hot dog mukbang.
Yeah. That's what we want. That's what we've been waiting for any band just really to do that. So thankfully it'll be there.
So depressing. It would be so long. And by the end of it would just be like, I don't want to eat any more hot dogs, please.
A bleak one. So the number will determine whether you'll be happy.
A mixed bag on that one.
Understandable. How do you feel about if you were famous for waving? You were like a famous waver. By that, as in you were known for having a great wave. How would you feel about that? Are you?
I mean, that sounds fantastic to me. That's like no work, but you've done it. I mean, like, I don't know what are the logistics of that though? Do you think it's like you would have to be doing like Nike ads where you're just like waving?
I think the wave guy, you know, like they'd be like, "Oh, Nike got the wave guy to do his wave."
Yeah,
well, I'm just wondering, how do you, not to get too in deep on this, but like, how do you monetize being famous for the wave? You know, that's what I'm concerned.
Well, I think you become an influencer, don't you? Maybe you could give classes to people on waving. Like the Queen has to wave a lot, right? So maybe
that's a great wave.
Yeah, right. So maybe there'd be some like military coup somewhere, and you get flown in to teach them how to wave properly now that they are in charge.
So it's just like extra work, really, at the moment. So you can get brand deals for a good wave. It's kind of like the guy, if you remember the guy who was on the skateboard singing along to Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. Similar thing. Yeah. I'm thinking similar vibe. You would get a lot of deals. You turn up at award shows, the wave guy, waving away. What
would you say has been your best wave you've ever given?
I think
it depends what you think, because this, I think, like what most elaborate or just the best standard wave, like perfectly executed. You know,
like you did it on the street to someone across the road, and you haven't been embarrassed. You know?
Well, that's never happened.
It just felt good.
That's simply never happened.
I don't know. I've had a few waves. It can't be too much. You know, you can't have too much of the elbow in action. I feel you kind of have to let the shoulder do it. So it's kind of almost like a shimmy. I've done a really good couple of waves.
Talking about this now, I'm like waving to myself, and it feels like the weirdest thing I've ever done. Like, waving feels very odd if you think about it.
Yeah, you've just got your arm in the air and it's just flying about, basically. I reckon I've done. There's been a couple of good waves I've done across the street to people. I've done some awful ones. I've done the one where, like, if I've waved and I've accidentally hit someone next to me.
That's a tough one.
That's really hard. That's really hard. You're like, oh no, sorry, I wasn't trying to hit you. I was waving at the person over there, and by that point, the person over there is gone. They're like, nah, I'm not getting involved with this. They're just going to leave me to deal with it.
You need the services of the world's best waver. That's what you need.
There you go.
That is what we need. Jake, over to you for another sweet slice of fame.
So would it be worthwhile being famous for having the world's largest kidneys?
It's a question. It's a big one.
I'd just like to say, medically, you would be fine. These are purely aesthetically large. There's no health issues.
Yeah, health issues here.
So would your wee just be like normally purified, or would it be like extra?
I guess it would be like like mountain spring water, wouldn't it?
Okay.
Mountain spring water.
but for aesthetic, would they not be like bulging out of me?
They would. That's true. That's the thing that would happen. But mate, that's the trade-off. You'd be famous. So is it worthwhile?
Famous for looking weird in t-shirts.
No. Like, you'd go to like working hospitals and they'd x-ray you and be like, oh my God, what huge kidneys. I don't know. I haven't really thought this through. But you're famous for it, okay?
What large kidneys you have.
I'm
there are people online famous for putting salt on things. Like, come on. You can be famous for big kidneys.
Yeah. I mean, I think this one's going to be a no for me, personally. Oh. I think, yeah.
Yeah, because you sold it so well, Jake. Like, yeah.
Well, there wasn't really far I could go with that. I gave them mountain spring water piss. What more do you want?
That was the blessing. Yeah, that is something you have to live with, I guess, is the largest kidneys. And yeah, whilst medically you'd be fine, it might impact your life. So I can see this.
Famous for looking weird in a t-shirt.
Exactly. It's a strong pass. Let's go with another one. how would you feel if you were like famous for having the largest collection of Pokemon cards in the world? Number
Have
one.
you been in my room?
This is the next question. Pokemon cards, or just collecting stuff in general. Is that something you guys do? And if so, what is the collection?
Ooh.
I mean, I have quite a few of those, like the Funko Pops. You know,
good shout.
I enjoy those, but like, would I want to be famous for having the most Funko Pops? I don't know. That seems like a lot. You know,
does that make you a target as well?
A target.
I'm just saying, like, if like someone's like, well, I know where we can get some Funko Pops.
Yeah, which happens all the time, doesn't it?
I mean,
hey, never know.
I guess, but I mean, you could argue like what I'm doing right now makes me a target. You know what I mean? I think this is the complex issue of fame. But
it's true.
I just put your address online as well. So
have you put it as Funko Pop Manor?
all head there. It's the balancing act of fame. So like, would you like, this is it, would you like to be known as that person, like the collector, I guess?
Well, I mean, the kid with the most Pokemon cards is always the coolest in school.
Mm-hmm.
So
but
I
the
think
adult with the most Pokemon cards is always the least coolest. When does that happen? At what age does it flip?
What age does it flip? That is very true.
This is true.
14 is my guess.
Yeah, I was thinking 14 as well. I can't test it. If I ever have kids, that's gonna be the long-running experiment of their life.
Yeah.
You're there on the 14th birthday, just there like, so what are you going to do with those?
Waiting for them to start get bullied at school.
Standing outside the school going, my son loves Pokemon cards. Is that a good thing? Guys?
Anyone? Jesus Christ. So is the fame for the collecting, is it a split kind of like maybe happy with that as a fame?
I think if the thing is cool enough, you know.
What thing would be cool enough? Please provide an example.
Money.
Well, that doesn't count.
The largest collection of money in the world.
And also, people who are famous for having a lot of money suck. I hate
That's true. That's true. But Mark Zuckerberg is not a cool guy.
Yeah.
If you're collecting money,
I'm really imagining all of your money being in one of those like binders that you put Pokemon cards in as well.
Yeah. Do you want to put it into a bank? No. I'm collecting it. I'm collecting. I just want to make sure.
You want to talk about being made a target? There you go.
Yeah, that's it.
Do you want to see my collection of tenors that I keep in my house?
Come on in. Yeah. So yeah, if everyone wants to find a collection of money, go to Simon's house. He has it.
I keep an open door policy in my house. So come round.
This is not helping your security in any way.
No, not at all.
In any way. Jake, we have another one.
Yeah. Would you be okay with being famous for coming second place in the 100 meters at the Olympics?
Do you not have to be some degree of famous to be able to have the ability to come second in the first place?
Well, yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, you'd never ever get first place. You'd just get second place, and then the people would know you as the guy that came second in the 100 meters. Is that good or bad?
Oh,
I like it. I like that.
Yeah, I like the ability of being able to, run that fast in the first place.
Not quite fast enough, though.
But
wouldn't that gnaw away at you at night? Wouldn't you have a picture of Usain Bolt on the wall and you'd be like, you bastard?
Well, okay, here's the thing, though, is that if I'm going into this knowing that is my life, like I will be famous for only coming in second, then I would just own it. You know what I mean? I would just start doing. Then I'd be doing the same Nike adverts that I'd be doing for my waving. I'd be doing for this, and it would be like motivational. It'd be like kids, don't worry. It's I'm only second place, and I'm still cooler than you. So you can get there one day.
And look at my wave.
Hey, you over there with your collection of Pokemon cards, you suck. I'm cooler than you.
But second place, that's it. If you embrace it, I actually think there's a positive there.
Would you rather be really famous and have come second, or no one really know who you were but you came first?
Oh, I'd be famous and come second all day long.
Interesting.
No doubt. I mean, I have to agree. It's all about the fame. Jake. It's all about the fame.
Plus, you would have to spend a lot of time explaining that you really did come first if no one knew who you were. Because like, if you were in the pub,
they wouldn't know.
If you were in the pub and some random guy was like, "Oh, I actually won a gold medal in the 100 meters," you'd be like, "Well, no, you didn't. That just didn't happen."
That happens every time I try and tell someone I'm a police car collective. They just don't believe me.
I'm not sure that's what that look is.
Yeah. They're thinking, sorry, police. What's happening here? Depends on the pub you're going to. Depends the pub.
It's true. Yeah.
Should we do one more? Should we do a last one?
Go for it.
Which
Jamie?
Let's go with. How do you feel being famous for having the most teeth? Just the most teeth, and by that I mean the most teeth in your mouth, not collecting the teeth.
Didn't Freddie Mercury have the most teeth?
Potentially. Actually,
he was getting there.
Yeah, he was getting there with it. But like, yeah, I mean, like, you know,
growing them daily, new teeth.
Like, it's not a bad shout. But would you embrace that? You'd be known as the he's got loads of teeth, basically.
I don't see any negative.
Apart from having too many teeth, I guess you'd look a bit weird.
Yeah, I mean, then it's like, then your face just would look weird, probably. Like you just have
it'd be kind of knocking around.
So do they like fall out and then new ones grow back? Or
No, this is the most at any one time. The most continuous teeth.
So for my whole life, I've had millions of teeth.
Well, not necessarily millions, just the most. So just like probably like a few more than normal. A handful more.
How would that work? How would you have millions of teeth? Why was that?
How small would they be as well? Are they normal sized? You open your mouth and they just pour out. And
are you a cartoon character? Like what?
Yeah.
Well, you didn't say that I was the human with the most teeth.
Oh, so you would become another creature.
You want to be famous for having the most teeth. Sharks aren't famous. They've all got lots of teeth. Like, you wouldn't see a shark and be like, oh my God, that's the shark with loads of teeth. Let me get a photo with him.
I tried to find a hole in your argument, but you just came back and slapped me in the face.
Defending the sharks, basically. Interestingly, just looked this up. The man with the most teeth in the world is 37 teeth at one time in his mouth. So that's,
I haven't heard of him either, so obviously it doesn't make you famous. Takes a lot to get famous, doesn't it? I would have thought that'd be a sure shot.
Famous, and then there's being like in the Guinness Book of World Records, which doesn't really count.
Yeah, that just gives you something to talk about when it all goes a bit quiet, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just.
Do you know how many teeth I've got? Loads.
Look at my bit.
I am actually on the Guinness World Records site, and 37 is the record, which is only 5 more teeth than the average adult.
I was going to say, I don't even know how many I've got.
Yeah, only a little bit more.
That's a somewhat underwhelming number.
Yeah, I wanted at least 50.
Sorry, don't know what you want me to do about this situation. On that underwhelming reveal of the person with the most teeth in their mouth, our time has come to an end with Police Car Collective. Guys, it's been a pleasure. We've learned a lot, and basically what we'd be willing to be famous for, which
I think you guys have a very low bar for. You were fine with almost all of those, apart from the kidneys.
I'm incredibly shallow. So.
Yeah, I rate it.
Well,
the one that you had the most issue with was the hot dog one, which seems to me like the one that's least like annoying. But you were like, nah, it's got to be within limits.
Well, yeah, this is the dynamic of our band, though, is that Simon is willing to be famous for almost anything, and I barely want to be famous for this sometimes. So it's like it's a tough one.
The dynamic that lives on. So look forward to half the band really going off in a different direction on the promo tour.
The other half sitting at home growing teeth.
And we will see what comes. What we will do is I think we'll play I think too much to play us out. But guys, it's been a pleasure. We shall catch you soon.
Thank you.
But let's have a listen to I think too much.
I wish you could just run away.
that was the wonderful Police Car Collective. Sensational scenes.
All round. But now you're stuck with us again. And we're here
sorry about that.
to talk about new music, the lifeblood of the show, which we introduce later and later each week into the desiccated corpse of this podcast.
We do more of the nonsense, more of the shites, and then we get to talk about the new music.
And visitor numbers get lower. Visitor numbers?
Yeah, I guess
Visitors to this museum. Jamie, have you got a track for us?
I certainly do. Let's start with, I guess, a long-time Dork favourite, No Rome, who is back with a brand new track called When She Comes Around, and also details of his debut album.
Oh, what are the details? There is a debut album.
There is a debut album. That's the big detail. And then the other detail is it's coming 3rd of December.
That's another detail.
And that's a detail that's arrived.
Christmas album.
I don't know. It's called It's All Smiles, and you would argue that Christmas is all smiles. So maybe what we don't know is that this actually could be
Spider-Man Smiles Morales.
Maybe it's that. Maybe it's that. Yeah, that's the album. Yeah, I mean, it's number one. Good to have No Rome back. He's like, everything he's put out has always been like slightly different and changed around from before. And I'm just really excited to finally be getting around to a debut album. It's felt like it's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. He's put out a number of EPs. They've all been really, really great. You know, if you think all the way back to like even the stuff like Narcissist that he did with Matty Healy, that was like
way back
a while ago. Yeah. And so it's been nice, and it's been nice to hear how he's kind of like altered and changed and kind of, I don't know, evolved his sound in the years.
Flubber.
Like the movie Flubber.
Or Ditto from Pokemon.
Ditto, yeah, classic, a legend, slimy, but not as No Rome is not as
slimy.
Rome is not slimy.
No,
let's just
it's
close
not
that.
slimy.
He certainly isn't.
No Rome, no slime.
No Rome, no slime. Yeah, really like this song as well. I like whenever he kind of goes, I don't know, like slightly. There is these electronic elements, there's slightly rockier elements, and yeah, I'm just really excited because I think he's an artist that can do anything. So,
but what he has done is made an album.
He has made the album. It's called "It's All Smiles"
from the album,
and the album has a song.
And what's the song?
The song is called "When She Comes Around," and this is it.
Can't see you.
And that was it.
That was it.
But that's not all.
No.
Because I have music.
Great. Super. Here
Let me tell you about blondes. Not blondies, those brownies that are blonde.
Right.
But Blonde's the band.
Oh, that's nice.
From Nottingham.
That's nice. You love to see it.
And they have released a lovely little indie pop song, I guess you'd say.
Yes.
That, nebulous genre. So yeah, each week when we're listening to stuff, you know, it's a mixture of stuff we know is coming out and then just sort of trawling through, seeing what's around. And I hadn't heard anything by these guys. And this, when it came on, just absolutely loved it. Just really well put together, like indie song. Like I wouldn't.
Yes.
It's not the kind of thing you're like, oh, this is really experimental. Like it's done this, it's moved. Like, oh wow, this is great.
Yeah.
It's just does that indie pop thing really, really well, and like it's just a really good example of how to do it and not be boring about it.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's fun, energetic. It's like a band who know what they're doing, and I'm a big fan.
And I just think it is like one of those where there's a lot of stuff around that people are like, you know, landfill indie or whatever, and they just kind of ascribe it to like basically anything that isn't pushing into some grand new territory. And it's so different when you listen to something like this and you're just like, yeah, this is a new band. I hadn't heard of them before. So there wasn't that hype there. I wasn't like expecting big things. I wasn't expecting it. But it's just really, really well put together. Doesn't outstay its welcome. Is just the right length. Has, you know, it's just a really, really good song. And I was just, really, I don't know, blown away by how well it exists within something that you think like, oh, I know all about that. But actually, really lovely new track.
It's great, isn't it? I mean, they've also got that song called Coming of Age, which people should check out. That's also a belter. But yeah, this is great to see how they're progressing. And I'm a big fan. Good fun, good band.
Good time.
Good times indeed. And you know what will also be good? If we listen to the song.
It would. This is Out the Neighborhood by Blondes.
Come on down, come on down, guaranteed you're in the mood.
there we are. Out the neighbourhood, into the fire. And by the fire, I mean more new music, Jake.
Christ. But I'm nearly full, Jamie.
You certainly are. Let's talk about VLURE.
Okay.
Who have returned with a brand new track. They've announced a debut EP. That's the first news.
Last time we're
getting a bunch.
Last time we mentioned VLURE, we spent a while saying, I wonder how the name's pronounced. And then about 2 days later, they tweeted like,
this is how the name
Stop asking us how the name's pronounced. It's really easy, you idiots. And I like to think that was a direct result. More affirmative action that we're taking.
We make things happen.
We do.
So number one, we brought back Shame. We said, where are they? They were back with a new album within a month.
That's true.
Where was Wolf Alice?
Yeah,
we asked.
That was another one.
Back with an amazing album.
Yep.
Wallace, of course, now signed to Dirty Hit.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to us, I like to believe.
Explaining how their name is said.
You're welcome.
And I also asked for emergency debt relief for energy companies in the wake of the rising gas prices.
Did you?
Yeah.
I must have missed that show.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a bit of a weird one.
But I'll tell you what, no need to debt relief this, because
I don't even know if those energy companies got debt relief. I'm way out of my depth, Jamie.
Well, you know, who needs energy when we've got
Octopus, if you're listening.
Heartbeat by VLURE,
Push on. Keep talking about the music.
Which is a real battle. Again, this is kind of. Do you remember not too long ago when we were talking about a talk show song? And I was talking about how it was.
Yeah, lost your mind.
It was literally like this song like steals people. This song fights on the street. This song
throws a pint glass across the room, and whoever it hits, they kill.
This song eats glass. This
on its own.
On its own. For fun. That's called a lunchtime snack. This kind of, I don't know, it feels like there's a genre almost coming through now of this kind of, this really like full-on energetic, like post-punk rave, if that's even a phrase.
Just going into like, you know, what if Happy Mondays were really, really industrial?
Yeah.
I just think it's good because it is that kind of thing. It's kind of the natural evolution. Like you get these kind of, you know, the guitar bands. Where do you go next? Like synth. You know, it's kind of a retread of like that post-punk into what happened after with the like 80s stuff.
Yeah.
But instead of it being all glamorous and optimistic, it's just as grim.
It's intense.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Ready to fuck you up, basically. And this song is and VLURE do it really well. Everything we've heard so far is definitely them
Even
doing that. Even the name, VLURE. Bring it on. You ponies. It's a belter. And this new song, Heartbeat, absolutely goes as well. And I can imagine live, they've been starting to do some live stuff and it looks incredible. They're doing Moth Club in November.
And for anyone who doesn't live in London, that's a venue.
If they live in Glasgow, they're doing King Tut's in December.
But nothing in between.
You'll have to try and find them somewhere else. They are doing a full UK headline tour, so just go online and just have a look.
You can have a look at that.
Yeah, they're playing all the places.
You know, the big ones, the Aberdeen, Edinburgh, Manchester, Birmingham, Bristol, London, Brighton, Leeds, Glasgow run.
The famous run. Famous run. This song is a violent punch in the face, and I love it. This is Heartbeat by VLURE.
Give me a release. Give me a release. Give me a release. Give me a release. Can you feel?
Wasn't Heartbeat a TV show?
Heartbeats. What do you miss when my baby kisses? Dun, 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 dun. You should see his face. He's loving it right now.
My next track is by Woos.
Woo!
I never really caught that was all in capitals before.
Yeah, it's a bit intense, isn't it? I'll be frank with you.
So they've got a new track called Family Picture. And speaking about VLURE taking that 80s sort of thing, but without the 80s in it, this is so 80s. I love this track. I was listening to this on like New Music, and I was like, is this new music? It's just a bit mental.
Yes.
Like, it's just
they've all Woos are like they've just become this band who like I don't know, they like proper go for it. It's full
They had that kind of
Yes.
art pop stuff, but this is kind of one of those times where you listen to it and you go, the art is kind of no longer like gallery art. It's more like Neil Buchanan Art Attack art.
Which is great.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Which is great.
Honestly, this track, I listened to it and I was like, this is the most fun I've had in a long time. So 80s, so synth, so over the top. Just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. It just feels like they're a band as well who are like, they've got a clear identity, it feels. They absolutely go for it.
Yeah, I mean, the art of this new EP is one of them holding the other one in the palm of his hand.
We did pitch that as the official Down With Boring
We couldn't decide who got to be big and small.
It was a lot
it's
of
like a
back
big
and
chef,
forth.
little chef sort of thing.
It's famously our egos collided
They
in
did,
such a
yes.
violent
We both
manner.
wanted to be the small one.
Always.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
I
it.
am the little spoon. I screamed into Jamie's face.
As I'm pushed into a sweet, sweet bowl of ice cream. That's the goal.
Exactly. This is Woos with Family Picture.
If I had my way, I'd make room for you inside my family picture. My family picture. My family. If I had my way, it'd be me and you inside my family picture. My family picture. My family.
Was not the name of that song.
No.
That was Woos.
That was Woos with Roxanne.
Family Picture.
Family Picture.
We've now come to the time of the show. It's our album of the week.
Put on a red light.
Dun, 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 dun.
Self Esteem has an album. If you don't know that, then you have not read any media in the past month.
Yeah, play the
5-star
game.
reviews across the board.
Yeah, play the game. You should know
The
by
hardest
now.
working interviewee I have ever seen. I have seen about 400 features with her. She
Just
must
going
not
for it.
Sleep,
She's not.
including the best feature of them all by our very own Martin Young.
Yes.
Available in Dork Magazine, the best magazine.
Exactly. Head there. Prioritize pleasure is
But
the
also
new
prioritize Dork.
also help us out a bit. Yeah. I feel like we're getting more and more desperate with our pleas every single week, to be fair.
I have rent to pay.
You could assume.
My father, he may see.
No, we're not getting to that. You could assume that any rent concerns.
I'd just like to point out that I was actually doing an impression of a dodgy cinema Italian, and
Right.
I don't think that's how Italians sound.
just to flag
Any
right
racism
away.
is the fault of films like The Godfather.
Yes, that famously as it
Il
goes.
Padrino.
Il Padrino forevermore.
What do you think of the Self Esteem album, Jamie?
It's a brilliant one. It's a
What
brilliant
I'm
one.
going to do,
It's-
while you discuss it, I'm
Yeah.
going to take advantage of us being in the same room. I'm going to do some stretches.
He's doing stretches.
Few stretches. What do you think
This is
of it?
literally happening. I'm really thrown by the thrusting, to be honest, that's going on. Ignore that. Self-Esteem. Yeah. Big fan of this album. Really big fan of, I guess, everything that's going on with Self-Esteem. I think, we saw with the debut album, there was a lot of, I don't know, this kind of change from obviously what Rebecca was doing before
Mm-hmm.
and then into kind of what she was doing now. And that kind of like, I don't know, this alt-pop world that I think she really nailed on that first album. It was a really, really good one. Rapturously received, of course.
But this is a bit different, isn't it?
This one feels like a step up. You do not understand, by the way, listener, the weird lunges and stuff that is going on here. This album, yeah, it just manages to
Really
just
hurts my
combine...
thighs, actually. I'm gonna sit back down.
combines
What a
everything
healthy
together.
man.
Combines everything together so well. Just an album that's just like really confident in kind of what it's saying, and I feel like it's like Self Esteem almost needed to do that first album to kind of establish, right, this is what I'm about now, and this album is the one where it's like, right, now I'm going to push it to every kind of degree I can.
haven't heard an album in a hell of a long time that is so obviously 100% sure what it wants to be. This does not feel like someone sat down to write an album and it's taken form.
Yeah,
This feels like someone has sat down with exactly this in their mind and just put it all down from this fully formed. It all slots together. The themes are all there. All the interviews that she's done.
Yeah,
Everything
talked
around
about
it.
yeah,
The cover art, the photos that have accompanied the interviews.
yes,
Just every single part of this is completely laser focused and like fully formed. And I
Yeah.
think it is really rare to find an album. Normally you listen to an album and there's a couple of tracks that maybe don't, or it feels like a gradual, it feels like, even if it feels like one package, it feels like one that has been developed over time, that is sort of but this is so clearly just one thing.
Here it is. Here it is, and done so well.
I'm a little bit out of breath from that stretch.
I was about to say, I could hear you panting over here.
Like
just
a dog.
falling apart. I'll tell you what's interesting, though. It is also an album that is very... It goes big a lot.
Was that interesting, is it?
It is, and I'll tell you why it's interesting. Because all the other pop stars, as of late, have been scaling back.
That's true. She's stepped into the void.
Yes.
She's lunged into the void, which is why I was doing those stretches.
Oh, right, because it was actually a metaphor for what you were experiencing, right? I just like an amazing, and I just like the fact that this is an album that manages to be big and big, catchy pop in a lot of ways, but also still have this very, important message behind some of the songs that she's putting out here.
It's like a log flume that goes into the deep end of the pool, There's fun, there's excitement, but there's a lot below the surface.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
He's not wrong, to be fair.
I never am.
Let's have a listen because let's have a listen to a track. Let's listen to Fucking Wizardry by Self Esteem.
No one believed in you. Can't be sure I did. Do the ex got back in touch to be sure you couldn't see this through? So she's jealous of me. You should've wrote better songs, honey. Make yourself the sun and not just be a waiting daisy. And I can see it now. I see what it was all about, and it ain't me. My hunger turns my impatience, makes me feel reckless. So I'll let you be selfish and careless with my head.
Huge. Fucking Wizardry.
Fucking Wizardry.
That's all you need to know about this album.
If you said that in public, you get punched in the face, wouldn't you? Or targeted as a nerd.
It depends where.
Someone pours you a pint and you go, that is fucking wizardry.
Yeah. Get out.
Get the hell out right now.
Dear me. It is this point about that, what we referred to just a little bit there, because she kind of said in an interview that she wants to use the palatable nature of pop to Trojan horse in my agenda. And I think she's done it. I think what's interesting as well is it feels like it's across the board. People of different ages, it's kind of all connects. I think you get a lot from just like sitting there and just, I don't know, like digesting what this album is trying to say.
Well, we've talked about this before, haven't we? And like a lot of the stuff we talked about, it is that thing of serious messages don't have to be conveyed in like dour, boring songs.
Yes. Yeah.
And the idea that like that Trojan horse thing, I think, is one way of looking at it, but also just the idea that like just because it is pop doesn't mean it has to be vacuous. And I think a lot of modern pop isn't now. It's not that kind of throwaway stuff. And a lot of like, indie stuff is, because that is good sometimes to have something that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But this thing of like, because I think because everyone's a lot more fluid with genre now, that you can get anything whenever you want, and like the nature of the online world and all of that. But if you're making like a downbeat song, you can be like, oh, I'll listen to some other examples of it, and you can just go outside the genre that you're in and find some other stuff that you like. You don't have to be like, I'm a pop artist and I want to make a sad song, so I'll listen to this sad pop song. I'll listen to all of these songs from all of these genres, and this is the same but kind of in reverse. It's like I want to make an absolute banging pop album that everyone can dance to, but I also don't want it to be random nonsense lyrics.
You don't want to sacrifice,
and there's no reason that those two things aren't compatible.
No.
And I think the thing with this album as well, it doesn't feel at all like, in interviews she said she wanted to do this and she was trying to do this, and it feels effortless. It feels like it's meant to be.
It doesn't, nothing feels forced or pushed in any way with this album.
I don't think the messages she's getting across could be conveyed in any other genre.
No, that's very true. That's very, very true. And I feel like I just feel it's really, the whole self-esteem story is one that's just so interesting, where she's gone like, right, do you know what? I want to push my ambitions to be a pop star. And she's done that. And she's gone out and she's been like, right, and this is, like we've said, the fully formed version.
It's like that annoying friend of yours that takes up something that you've done for years and just turns out to be instantly good at it with everything, Like,
yes, because famously we've been trying to be pop stars for years. And Self-Esteem has come along and has taken that off us, and fair play.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay. We can't really compete with it at all. So absolutely fair play at all. It'll be interesting to see where she goes from here as well. That's going to be really interesting.
And what rating would you give it out of 16 rosettes?
16 rosettes.
16 out of 16.
16 rosettes out of 16.
Quite low.
What about you?
I'd probably give it Z rosettes out of 16.
A Z rosette.
The highest score.
The highest score. Take of that what you will. I don't think you can use any of that on any poster.
You can try.
Self-esteem. You can try, and we'll give it to you.
You will be hearing from my lawyers.
As always. I tell you what, you won't be hearing from any lawyers after you hear this. This is another highlight from the album.
They're all highlights. Jay.
I mean, all highlights. We don't have time to play it all, though.
We don't. That's true.
the problem. So this is I do this all the time.
Of yours. If you weren't doing this, you'd be working in McDonald's. So try and cheer up. I'm not sure. You're moving around too much. You need to stand still. Be more.
Roxanne.
That is not the song. That is not the. That cannot be the song. Yes,
we're all very grateful that it isn't.
We're all very.
What an
very
album!
grateful. What an album!
What a man! What a mighty, mighty man!
What are you talking about? That was Prioritised Pleasure, Self Esteem, a deserving album of the week, and I think going to do very well for like album of the year.
Yeah, I feel. I mean, it's great, isn't it?
It's just really great, and it's great to see. Yeah, everything come together for Self Esteem, and yeah, looking forward to those live shows. She is the pop star we need right now.
Like Batman,
kinda, yeah,
or Harvey Dent.
I always didn't know how that works.
Harvey Dent was the hero we needed.
Right, yes. But Batman was... No.
Because Batman...
was the one we deserved.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
So...
Harvey Dent, good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Went mad. Batman, angry, punchy.
Right.
Good.
But what we needed.
What we deserve.
What we deserve, right. I think Self-Esteem is...
But you need vitamins, but you deserve to get locked back in the basement.
Self-Esteem,
yes,
is basically
great.
Is the best. Yes, a huge album, wonderful stuff. Yeah, great to see. So it takes us to this part of the show.
Live and direct.
Of the week.
I was kicking.
There was a lot going on there. There was a lot there. Yeah, there was violence in the room. There was violence in the room.
But he carried on because he's professional.
I'm a real professional.
Now, do you want me to read this first tweet out, Jamie?
I mean, yeah. Go on then.
This one is from
well, friend of the magazine.
Friend of the magazine. Friend of the show.
Haven't had the pleasure yet.
No, that was the question mark.
Oh,
call us.
Call us, yes, please. Yeah, come on in.
So this is Alison Pontier.
For fuck's sake. It's not even the way you say it.
Alison has tweeted, I just woke up from a dream.
This is going to be painful.
Where I accidentally got 5 awful tattoos. I went to an escape room with my record label. Then they announced we'd be using my teddy bear Cuddles as the reward for finishing the escape room. I cried in front of Billie Eilish so much they let me go. And that's a tweet there.
I'm amazed you got through that, to be honest. How's your throat? Yeah. I can see your eyes are watering. His eyes are watering after doing that.
I wasn't born to be a cowboy.
No.
But Alison was.
Yes.
What do you think about that, Jamie, as a dream? I normally hate hearing about people's dreams, but that was quite a nice summary.
Yes. Went to the escape room with my record label.
Mm-hmm.
Accidentally got tattoos.
Yeah. You know my favourite part of this? It is perfectly written as like a pullback and reveal joke, but without being a joke. So I think she's a born comedian because the final line of "I cried in front of Billie Eilish so much they let me go" is great because at no point has she mentioned that Billie's there. But she's also not making a big deal out of it.
No.
So
Like, Billie Eilish is there. Billie Eilish is there.
That's the thing with the classic jokes. Like
she's just knocking around. So the record label includes, so maybe Billie Eilish. What we don't know is Billie Eilish is also like doing some work at the label.
some work.
Yeah, maybe she's come
Corralling people into the escape room.
doing some project managing, doing some office admin.
I did an escape room last week.
Did you? How did that go?
Oh, it sucked.
Did you get out?
Yeah.
I mean, of course.
We got out. I'm here now.
I think that's my problem with escape rooms is
there's no stake.
there's no like you escape.
We
get
went
out.
and we did it, and it took us 28 minutes.
Well done.
And we came out and they went, that was incredible. They went, that was so quick. We had an hour to do it.
Right.
They went, this is amazing. And they said, you know, our best time is 24 minutes. And I was like, right, so it's not even unprecedented. He was so enthusiastic. And then it turned out we spent 4 extra minutes. And then he was like, yeah, but 2 of you have never done an escape room before. And I was one of those 2 people. And I was like, yeah, but it's not exactly a hard fucking concept, is it? Escape the room.
My problem with that as well is, like, with an activity that you pay for, right? I think you arguably pay for the time.
Yeah,
so
we got
you
half the
paid
value.
for half the experience in that case, even though you got out.
We could have done it twice.
Could have done it twice.
Or 3 times, 4 times, because
well, maybe next
first time we knew.
you could go with your record label, keep your teddy bear safe, which is that's a cruel sidestep as well.
Yeah, but there was no prize in my escape room.
And then
I got a free pen, actually.
It's a bit
I think
different.
I would have got that if I'd lost, though.
No. Do you reckon?
Well, afterwards he said, because you guys did so well, I've put a 10% discount code there for you to do it again. And I was like, well, you probably do that for everyone, don't you?
Yeah. You want to come back.
Yeah, it's either going to be like, oh, because you didn't do quite as well as you wanted, giving you another chance.
You're like,
so I saw right through him. Tobias, if you're listening, you're a charlatan.
Alison Pontier, amazing stuff. Unfortunately, just crying in front of Billie Eilish. That is a traumatic tweet, but it's one that I feel connects us all, because don't we all have like those sort of nightmares?
Haven't we all walked into a saloon, heard the click of the key in the door, known there's no way out?
This is Late Bloomer by by Alison Pontier.
I got strong in the wall. Once I broke through it, I could do it again and again. Falling back isn't your fault. There's a lot of people that feel the same way. Late bloomer, I'm not afraid of you anymore. Late bloomer, now that I'm awake, it was worth the wait. Late bloomer, I'm not afraid of you anymore. Late bloomer, now that I'm awake, it was worth the
Amazing stuff. Big fan of Alison. Looking forward to
The real
see what else comes out.
man of the West.
Great to have her on Tweets of the Week. Let's
Have her on Tweets of the Week.
Have her on.
Alison, if you're listening and you want to come on the show, I promise not to do that voice.
No, actually, he will do that voice,
No.
and then I want Alison, you to just destroy this man for his sins. Let's go
Second
on.
tweet.
Yeah, we've got one more tweet, and that is from Porridge Radio, friends of the show, talking
Friends
about
of the
people who've been on the show. They say, they've tweeted, they say, they were playing our song in the cafe I'm in, but then they skipped it. Sad face.
Wonderful.
Oh,
That is perfect as well. Like, oh, hey, this is one of us. Oh, it's gone.
And then you look down, everyone's like, oh, I wonder why they were. Oh, they've turned it off. Got a feel for it, but I guess, I think that's worse. It's not even that your song didn't get played, it's that they actively were like, no, none of this, and moved on. That's the bleak
didn't
moment
even like play it out.
No,
And then
didn't even
someone
let
said
it go.
was shit. They
Yeah.
literally got it and they were like, I know this song and I don't want it.
Do you think there are certain artists that you couldn't play in like a cafe though?
Yeah.
Like, what would those be?
Cannibal Corpse.
Do you reckon so?
Dying Fetus.
You can play Slipknot, I guess.
You could.
What Slipknot song do you play?
People equal shit.
Once they pick up their macchiatos.
Yeah, I'll have a brownie, a flat white, and the knowledge that I am a worm before I'm a man, please.
I am a maggot.
I am a maggot, and as such, I would like a brownie.
Sometimes in certain part of Wales, maggot is the person who goes in. Shout out maggot from Goldie Looking Chain. Little throwback for everyone listening.
I've seen Gold Looking Chain.
Yeah, how was that?
I think we've already discussed this shit,
Yeah.
obviously. But, you know, what are you going to do? Sometimes in life you do stuff.
You do stuff, such as going into a coffee shop or going into a cafe hearing the song.
That must be a constant worry, especially as a band like Porridge Radio, who are big on like Six Music. You know, that kind of feeds into like trendy, like the kind of coffee shop that's like a little bit like vinyl on the wall. I imagine they're like quite a Six Music-y crowd. Yeah. So I feel like more so than, say, Slipknot, you run a constant risk as someone like Porridge Radio of being on in a cafe or bar. And then it would, now after that, it would just be 4 minutes of sitting there like, don't skip it, don't skip it. Let it get to the end.
You're trying to have a conversation with someone. It's like, in a sec. Let me hear it. Okay, cool, it's over. It's
also,
cool.
how weird would it be if you were in a cafe and you were talking to someone and they just started playing your voice over the speakers in the cafe?
Terrifying.
Yes,
terrifying. And yeah, I mean, whatever cafe did that,
fuck you.
You suck.
You scumbags.
You scum.
You maggots.
Exactly. People do equal shit. Am I right?
Well, that's a bit of an aggressive way of looking at it, I think.
Porridge Radio. Legends. This is Give Take.
Sounding like a little bitch. And how do I say no without being contagious?
You give a good song and they take it
away from you.
Well, that's it.
That is. We've come to an end. Another week done.
Another week older, another week wiser.
Another one in the books.
Another week of Budweiser.
The famous 71. What a time. We're going to go now. What do you think is going to happen over the next week?
I think Sting is going to put himself into a yoga position he can't get out of, and they'll have to roll him around like a big ball for the rest of his life.
Sensational.
What do you think is going to happen?
I reckon that a giant chocolate teddy bear is going to be available at the end of all escape rooms. And Alison Pontier is going to open a range of escape rooms.
Pontier,
the legend.
That's it for another week.
That's going to happen. Yes.
In a bit of a rush because you've got to go to a gig now.
We do. We have to go, so we're going to run now.
No tips this week, only gigs.
The tip is turn up to a gig on time. They'll appreciate it more.
They will. Goodbye.
Goodbye.